Hello and welcome back to Beast Fables, a lovely weekly show where we follow the lives of tiny animals in a massive forest. I am Brian, I will be your narrator today, and I use he, him pronouns and run the publishing company Dungeons on a Dime. This is the final, long time coming, epic conclusion of at least this campaign. Despite all sorts of different things happening in real life, we have managed to pull through and survive to see the final, I don't know, like, the final closing statement, so to speak, of Balthazar, of Pipistrelle, and of Lutzen. I am joined today by three fantastic illustrators, and I will hand them over to introduce themselves. Ver, do you want to say who you are?
I do, thank you. I am Ver. I use they, them pronouns. I am a comic artist and illustrator, and as I have been playing up until now, today I will be taking the role of Balthazar of Blueberry Pond, a courageous toad knight.
Amazing. I'm also joined today by Atlanta. Do you want to give a little hello?
Hello, I am Atlanta. I use she, her pronouns. I am a freelance illustratory type person. And I am finally reprising my role as our intrepid little bat friend, Pipistrelle. Genuine disaster, wonderful friend. Trademark.
Genuine disaster.
Yes.
Very good, very good.
And last but not least, we have got Fraser.
Hello, I am Fraser. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also an illustrator and character artist. I am playing the role of Lutzen, the disaster rat. He's a wee Craftpaw inventor guy. He's cute.
We love him.
We love him. very
We
dearly.
stan the rat. We are playing on the virtual tabletop Roll20, which, if you didn't know, is basically the Zoom of board games, not the Zorm of board games.
Zorm.
Zorm of boot games.
Gorms.
All hail Zorm.
Oh, no.
All hail Zorm.
You can play online for free. Just gotta go make an account. It's real simple and a lot of fun. You can also find the system we're using, Adventures on a Dime, on the marketplace. You can see that you can get all of these fun, fancy character sheets, like this one here, Balthazar. Look, there's a little name and there's stats, and you can see all the jobs and cool things he has. He's sensitive to moisture, he's amphibious, he's sweat stress toxins. It's all good fun. Oh, this also reminds me, you guys have barely anything because you lost all of your equipment in the lake. Oh, so much to catch up on.
Hey, I have my booter hat. That's all I need.
And a broken bottle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just the
How
idea
do
of
you think I'm
staggering
gonna
around with a
get?
broken
How do you
bottle
think I'm
around.
gonna off Chipper?
Oh god.
Shiver with a broken bottle.
oh my god.
You do not deserve honorable death.
You do not deserve the hammer.
Shanker. Yeah.
God.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Sorry.
I feel like this is
I love Dark Balthazar. Anyway.
Mhm.
It is very good. Good energy is good
Balthazar.
handpick.
I was
Wait,
gonna
is
say
that Dark Balthazar or Dank Balthazar?
Dang Balthazar. Oh god.
I'm gonna bring us back on track.
This already. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's,
sorry.
let's-
I'm gonna. So you can even roll dice and see stuff like that. Like Balthazar got a success for cunning. This is gonna go really well today, guys. It's gonna go
Ooh.
flawlessly.
Stunning.
I'm gonna sum up quickly for everyone at home just what's happened. This kind of leading up to this larger moment. You guys have been chasing after Lutzen's creation, an Iron Beetle. You have gone on a very long and winding path, starting at Willamoot. You have moved round and up to Aspen Grace, following in the tracks of Chipper, the Red Squirrel, who seems to be connected to bandits who have stolen this, sort of like it's like a car. It's like a large beetle, and it's a mech, and it moves around. Lutzen invented it, but kind of can't really remember how he invented it. He's sort of a bit scatterbrained like that. Chasing after Chipper, you went to Aspen Grace, and you made friends with a wolf. You went to Bramblefork and murderfied a bandit rat with a pitchfork. You went to Lalastock,
No, Lutzen
and
did that specifically.
Yeah. Okay, just call me out. It's fine.
Yeah, I will.
Lutzen the murderer.
Try me.
in Lalastock, you kidnapped some more bandits and accidentally helped start a fire. You were almost shipwrecked on Lochotrin and managed to survive and make your way to shore. And then you followed along the stony reach towards Ladies' Bank, a dock that was on this old map you had crossed out. At Ladies' Bank, you saw that the bandits, the pirates of Locatrin, were here, also living amongst some seemingly scared citizens. There were Sparrowhawks descending and attacking, and the pirates were fighting back with ballista. You managed to sneak through the chaos and find that Chipper had once again evaded you and taken the Iron Beetle north. You snuck past through all of the chaos and managed to find a secret tunnel leading towards the stone fangs that Chipper had gone into, and you chased swiftly afterwards. In the tunnel, you navigated through the dark, and managed to catch up with Chipper, who on her own was navigating a semi-reduced beetle. It didn't have, she'd taken like 2 of the legs off and had strapped them to the top, and it was moving as fast as it could through the tunnels towards the secret base, the secret haven that she knew about. And you essentially boarded the beetle, beat Chipper, and managed to dump all of the fuel inside of the beetle into this narrow tunnel, so it doesn't have any fuel, can't move anymore, and managed to finally, at the end of your adventure, crash it into the opening of this secret base. I'm going to take us to a new screen.
Ooh.
So we have
Ooh.
canvas space to draw on.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh indeed. And I'm going to change the music to something that represents a little bit more of the tension that's going on right now.
Yeah, his current tune was very funky.
Yeah,
Lucky
that was
us.
my heist music as opposed to like my lives at stake music.
Uh-oh.
Nervous.
So there is a sort of a tense silence in the tunnel. I'm going to start drawing the tunnel over here. So this is the tunnel that you've come through. There is a large sort of open air space here with stairs that descend round the side to a sort of like a lower basin area. I'm drawing that in. There is a set of semi-carved, like natural and then enhanced sort of stairs here, with a ramp up the middle that leads further into a more of an enclosed cave system. There is also a natural hollow in the stone, a little bit up from the ground. So I'm just going to put a little X there to show that it's above the ground, with a wooden ballista made out of carved branches, pointed down into this area here. Actually, no, it's not down. It's pointed up into the sky.
Okay.
From the brief glance that you've had. The beetle, which I'm going to do in a different color, is sort of half crashed, half rammed into the entrance here. Its horn is spewing out black smoke that's filling this sort of chamber, dense and thick and awful smelling. The remnants of the coal burning and singeing through the steam system that Lutz and you had built. Now it seems like hundreds of years ago, but in reality it was like a few months ago.
Wow.
Balthazar, you have Chipper pinned underneath your hammer. In the crash, she seems to have knocked her head against maybe a control panel inside the beetle, and she seems dazed. She's sort of like vaguely resisting against like your weight pressed down on her, but you have her just pinned. She's sort of incapacitated at the moment, not putting enough of a fight back that she could overpower you.
I'm too strong.
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 Dense toad.
Well, are we starting the scene, or is there still more?
I'm just going to keep a little bit more description.
Okay.
Just to kind of. So Lutzen, you are knocked against one of the consoles, and you look out through the front window of the beetle, and you see this sort of like smog, which I'm going to do in a red. No, the ground's red. I'm not going to do it in red. I'm going to do it in something else.
Grey. Like a grey.
Yeah, smog, grey, black.
Grey. So there's sort of like smog cloud obscuring a lot of the space here that's very difficult to breathe in. And is flowing out into the open space. You think you see some kind of shadowy bird figure over here inside the cave disappear inside. It might be maybe crow or magpie sized. You couldn't make out much.
It's big.
Your entrance was definitely loud.
Fair.
Pipistrelle, you are not trapped, but sort of like rolled underneath the beetle, having fallen out of the window. Your paw is singed from using the hot controls, and you kind of crawl out and on this side of the cave tunnel.
Okay.
Also, if I may, I'm just going to quickly look and see if I wrote down the actual fortune that we had. I think it was something like they come at night.
I think so. I can probably scroll back, but
Yeah, but that would have been like way
while
back
ago.
for even the Sparrowhawks attacking, right? That was still from that whole scene.
What was it? Oh god, yeah, it
I'm going to
was.
scroll up and see if we have one. I
I
definitely know
can't
that we
find
have
one.
a vibe.
can't
We've
find
got
it
a
right
fortune
away.
card from the Vice and Virtue subsystem. But I've also played a few games in this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Lutzen and Balthazar and Pipistrelle. Melodious Echoes. Oh wait, no, that's from a different game.
Yeah, no, we did not have that one.
I'm trying to like run through the
Unfortunately,
chat
I think it's too far
archive.
back. So I'm just going
Yeah.
to say that I know the vibe of the scene that's coming.
I'll try and
I'm-
find it for you.
Yeah, I feel that we never did one after they come at night.
Yeah. That's,
Oh
they
no,
come
or
at
did
night
we
in
roll?
most
Did we
ways.
roll a new one after we met Greg and Stacy?
No, that would have been
Potentially?
even further back.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm silly. Yeah.
Yeah, the last one we did was
I
they come
think
at
the
night.
scene that you
mostly.
chose. I don't think the scene ended. I think the chase led in very quickly, and I purposely didn't refresh the scene because
Yeah,
it
we
kept
have.
with
They
the
come
pacing.
at night. Let's
Come at
you
night,
and
and then
him
the
fight.
Sparrowhawks
They
descended
know
and
these
swept.
waters like the back of their hand. Is the last three fortunes that we've had,
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
and we chose they come at night mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they come at night, comma mostly.
That's
Ruh-roh.
the fortune, and I'm gonna say that Pipistrelle, as you look up through the black smog, you have an instinct, a natural affinity for like the timings of night. It is currently like the darkest point of night before dawn. Even you can tell that through like the smog and patches of sky that you see through. It's just total darkness, and you know that the sun will be rising maybe in half an hour.
Oh, okay. So we are really in like the darkest hours before the dawn.
Yikes!
Yikes, indeed. I think in a funny way, she would be a little bit freaked out by this, and she's like gonna sort of pick herself up and kind of hop over to where Lutzen and Balthazar are. Like,
I think Watson has a bit of a kind of flashback to initially like building the beetle, and fires in close spaces. He would know like that was a bad thing that he's been caught out with once.
oh god, yeah.
And I think he would just kind of like panically say, "This thing's stuck. This thing's not moving. We're gonna have to get out of here. It's not safe in the tunnel. Do we take Chipper with us?"
I think as Lutzen is saying this, Balthazar kind of takes stock of this strange architecture or the strange structures that we have found ourselves in, and he kind of picks up Chipper by the, let's say she has a shirt, by like the front of her shirt, scruff of her, for like by the front,
okay, yeah.
not the back, and he kind of pulls her in a little more closely, and he says, "What is this wretched place that you have brought this thing to?"
You're saying this to Chipper.
To Chipper, yeah.
She seems to be collecting a little bit more of her senses, and knowing that she's captured, or at least for right now, like she can't escape, she just glares at you. Sort of like her teeth bared.
Oh, threatening squirrel teeth. No, thank you.
Who do you work for? Sorry.
Where's the catnip? No, sorry. It's an old vine.
Yeah.
I think Pip noticing this would like kind of like the teeth bared, like no answer thing. She feels a little bit safe because like Balthazar has a really good hold on her.
Yeah.
She would like go and stand kind of over Chipper, who I imagine is still being pinned to the floor and is sort of being being held by the scruff. It's like, you are in no position to play these games. Where are we?
I want you to make a willpower roll. You're trying to enforce your... Like, I'd say this, that you're intimidating her. You're trying to reason with her, but also be very forceful.
It is kind of a, like, we're all gonna get in trouble unless you kind of help us out here. And I don't think I could tag anything.
Do you not have your tag of, like, willing to prove or something?
I do have thirst to prove. I don't know if that would be. I don't know if that would be a good one for this, because like she's trying to, like, step.
I would say
like you're trying to prove it to yourself.
She is. She tries to prove a lot of stuff to herself. That is very true.
Are you tagging this as just to check? Is this a skill that you're learning or a skill that you've learned?
This is a skill that I've learned.
Okay, so you do get advantage.
Oh, thank you. And a willpower roll at advantage. Okay, thank you very much.
Success and a complication. You do as well as you can. You kind of lean in very close to Chipper and you say these very menacing words. Not menacing. I think there's a sincerity behind
there is definitely a sincerity.
What you say, like, this is it. This is over. We've caught you. And Chipper sort of coughs and spits like a little bit of blood onto like her fur, and she says, "It doesn't matter. It's all ruined. You've ruined everything. It doesn't matter what this place is called."
I think she's gonna try and keep like this sort of intense like stare with those sort of those beady little yellow eyes that she has on Chipper, and just say, well, what did we ruin?
I think Lutzen from the back will kind of pipe up just and say, I think you did that the moment you stole it from me. You did that yourself.
True.
And right, we need to get out of here. And he's gonna like just kind of gently try and like pull Pip away and just like get her out from the like. You can tell the smoke is building up.
I think Pip would
hang on, guys.
Like, oh, sorry.
Chipper would respond to you when you say like, what have we ruined? And I think at that point she would say, a new home. And then Lutzen would be like, oh, there's fire, we need to get out of here, and that would happen. But she would respond and say like, you've ruined a new home.
I think as Chipper says that, Pip like, she like furrows her brow. She looks like, when sort of you look kind of angry but also confused at the same time, as like Lutzen is like dragging her away, she just stares at Chipper with this kind of like, what kind of expression, but is aware that obviously like he knows what they're talking about and that they need to get out of the tunnel away from the beetle.
Balthazar will hoist up Chipper, this time by the scruff of the neck, and kind of put her over his back. You know how you'd be carrying like a sack over your back? Kind of carrying her by the scruff of the neck just so it's a little harder for her to gain a proper footing. And he's gonna and jump down. He's not like thrashing her around or anything, but this I think is just the most comfortable way of carrying something slightly bigger than him while making sure that his low center of gravity can give him the advantage of keeping
I would say that to reflavor it, I think maybe you could instead just put her arms behind her back. She is able to walk, and I get the vibe you're going for, which is to kind of move her, but also keep her restrained. So you kind of like are able to twist her arms behind her back and move her, if you want to do that instead.
Sure.
Let's hold a paw out to like take the hammer just for convenience.
Balthy's fine. He's going to kind of just give you like a firm kind of nod and like a I got it. And I think just following up to what she said to Pipistrelle, he'd kind of say, "A new home built on thievery and the blood of others."
Chipper laughs
at
this. She gives a little chuckle when you say the blood of others.
Oh.
Yeah.
But doesn't say anything more.
Yeah. He definitely frowns at this. And says, "This is no laughing matter."
Where are you moving to?
I think just like down onto the steps, just like into slightly fresher air. And did you say that who noticed the avian form in the kind of smog?
I would
Was it
say
just
like
myself?
you and Pipistrelle, and you could have easily communicated that to Balthazar
Yeah.
as well. You seem to
I
see
think
it
I
like
would've
hop
said-
along and disappear into the, not into the smog, but disappear in because of the smog.
The
You couldn't
distance.
see where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely communicate that. Just like we're not alone. There's people have heard us, obviously.
I think Pip will be kind of using her just her ears very acutely as they move through this kind of cave, because I imagine it's quite echoey as well. So like loud footfalls and things falling will probably echo around. So she's kind of very aware of that as they kind of move through, and try and sort of. I mean, I suppose this is more like a sort of game question for the U2s. Like, are we going to follow the figure and see where they go?
I understand. I mean, I think for now we just want to move out, because there's a natural kind of formation. Do no snapping here,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the steps where the creature went, or did the creature go up? Because I don't think I quite understood. Sorry,
So
my directional.
this is. I will do like a side view, in like a dark red. So like if this is the entrance you've come from, there's like stairs that go down the side. There's like a lower basin area, and then some steps and a ramp that go up back into a cave. And this is like open air here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So like the figure has gone back into a cave, and you are here where like the beetle is all rammed in and blocking off, semi-blocking
Gotcha.
off. You could crawl around or under the legs or that sort of thing.
I think just because I think Balthazar is kind of just focused on Lutzen told us to get out because it's dangerous and we're here and we don't really know what next. And I think he's just gonna continue. Oh no, you killed Balthazar!
I didn't. I moved him.
Oh,
I
no.
moved him.
Did you? Oh, there he is. Sorry, I thought you deleted the whole thing. He's gonna continue just speaking to Chipper, and he says, kind of as a follow-up from that, like, this is no laughing matter, and he'll say, so is there virtue to this conquest that you have undergone? Is that it? Is that what has been driving you? To lie and steal?
I'm just thinking of what Chipper's response would be. Is there virtue to what you've done? Chipper, kind of over her shoulder, because she's actually taller than you, though not that much. You're closer to Chipper's height than you realised. And a lot of it is fur and ears.
Yeah, she's
Chipper kind of
strong.
over her
I'm all
shoulder
muscle.
kind of says to you, I don't have to justify myself to you. I don't have to justify myself to any guild.
Guild, huh? And I think Balthazar will kind of turn to like Pipistrelle and Lutzen and say, this isn't the first time that we've heard such a thing. People wronged, good beasts, or not good beasts, sorry, beasts wronged by guilds.
Pipistrelle would nod at this, not say
Yeah,
anything. She's still kind of just observing Chipper.
I think Lutzen, knowing that the two of you are kind of watching her, I think he's like scanning around the space for any other figures hiding, maybe up top, and like just any other like danger. I think he's just like
We're
very,
gonna
very
make
wary.
a
Cunning
check for me
Mm-hmm.
for an awareness of your surroundings.
Can I tag my eye for detail?
Yes. It will change the kind of information you get.
That's fine. Oh,
good thing you
okay.
did.
Glad I did. Yeah, I think Lutzen's just very like, just he trusts Balthazar fully that he has Chipper under control.
Scan
And he's just
around
very
the space.
excited.
I'm gonna say that you actually see a little bit more into the cave, so I'm gonna reveal some more information. You notice that there seems to be some kind of like open hall here. I've also shrunk it a little bit just because there's a fair amount of detail to show. There's an open hall with a rock face that sort of blocks things off here.
Right. Kind of splitting path.
Yeah, splitting the path. And it moves, the paths move around the rock in both directions. And you can see that's a little bit further on.
And is there any
Something like
indication of like writing or markings in this like cavern area that we're in, like the larger, like here, like along the gateway or anything, or the kind of doorway?
There doesn't seem to be writings. You do notice that there are some elements of being lived in. There's a rug on the main floor here.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah, wow.
I walk all over the rug.
It feels really out of place because it's very intricately woven, and this is all like natural rock with some elements maybe dug or carved, with maybe soil's been removed or packed in to shape the cavern a bit better. With your eye for detail, you do notice the ballista is built and supported on a tripod in such a way that it can't aim down. It only aims up.
Okay, good.
Only aims up.
What's the threat from above?
Yeah.
Well, those sparrowhawks.
Yeah.
True. Or any other thing that can sort of fly in.
Okay.
Or,
And is it loaded? Can you see, or can I tell if it's like? If it's
It
loaded
is
and,
currently
like,
loaded, but that's because you can see like the glint of a like an arrowhead.
Yeah,
in it. You can't actually see much further into the pocket.
Yeah, of course. No worries.
Interesting.
I think
Also,
Lutzen will just
you
say
notice
like,
that there isn't a ladder leading up to the pocket.
Okay.
So you would reason there is
assume-
another way to access it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. That's fair. I think Lutzen will kind of just say like, I don't like the feeling of this place. Please be careful.
Yeah.
I think he'll communicate as well. Like that ballista is only pointing upwards, so like, I'm keeping an eye on this, guys. I don't know what the threat is here. I don't like it.
I think Balthazar kind of looks around for the first time properly now, and he says, well, we don't... I suppose we cannot leave through that tunnel, but our job here is done. We wanted to disable the beetle. If we can just find a way out, I suppose all of us can be on our way. And he says this kind of looking over at Chipper as well. And I think when he does, he kind of comes back to that thought of like her saying that was offering you home. And she says, if there was virtue to your pursuit, why didn't you ask somebody for help? Why did you, if you wanted to find a new home or make a new home, why this? I don't understand.
I want you to make a willpower check to see how she reacts to your
I
genuine
think
inquiry.
I might actually tag my compassionate demeanor because he's trying to understand her point of view. Because he doesn't understand why you would,
Why go through all this trouble?
Yeah.
A success.
Ooh.
Also, not a complication. That would have been a little more interesting.
No.
She sort of turns, and she turns non-violently to break your grip on her. Do you let her free?
Insight check.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you do
Yes,
have Pip and Lutzen nearby if she did try anything. I guess.
Just if this does develop into anything, could we? Lutzen would want to try and remove a part of the beetle as somewhat like vital, I guess. Like as we're kind of like as he was kind of ushering everyone off the beetle and like into this chamber just before kind of we're looking around and things. I think he would want to try and take a part like that was rather vital that he could keep on his person. If that's possible.
Make a cunning check for me. You don't have advantage.
Just like further like disable it in a way that like they would have a very vital missing part that even with repairs and stuff they wouldn't know how to fix. Oh fuck.
Okay.
Oh no.
So hijinks, because it's something that you're doing casually, nothing necessarily goes wrong. It's just it is too hot to touch. And from what you can look at a glance, the engine's wrecked. You are confident that it would take weeks, if at all possible, to fix. You wouldn't necessarily. I don't think I need to take anything.
Okay, that's fair.
The only parts that are like cool enough to like start disassembling are maybe like the legs.
Okay.
So just as for Chipper, I will say that I will lean into my kind of oblivious poor foresight and say that in this moment, because he's established like some kind of emotional connection to her, thinking that she's going to face him to speak candidly, he will let her turn.
That's fair.
So she sort of like tugs at like you holding her, and then the second time you kind of let her go and she turns around and she looks furious and a little bit hurt, because I feel like that's part of your candidness, is that you can also read emotion as well. So you see when it's very genuine. She's genuinely like, hurt is the wrong word, offended is better. And she turns and says, oh, why wouldn't we ask for help? And then she pulls her, I think she's like wearing a waistcoat or a vest or something like that. Nothing fancy, but more like just protective. And she pulls it, and you see that there's one of the largest you've seen on a beast. A brand, half of the circle is exposed, that she pulls aside. It's all over her chest.
Yikes.
Lutzen, you look over, and you recognize one of the corner of the Craftpaws crest for the guild.
Oh.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah.
And she says, this is what you get for helping.
Sorry.
No, please go. Pip.
I was just going to say, I feel like, because Pip is still kind of like scrutinizing in exactly that little face that you've drawn in the Roll20, by the way, Ver. That's absolutely perfect. Like she would sort of like come back over and like, you see that, obviously the branding is like, kind of quite big and intimidating, but still say like, but why? Why resort to all of this? What? Why? She's just like, she's kind of like, she's basically like Balthazar in this moment. Like, she's just so confused as to what Chipper was actually doing. Like, what is she actually trying to do? What is she trying to help? Who is she trying to help?
Yeah.
So she's now standing on like the ramp leading into this space. You're kind of backed up a little bit, and I'm gonna say like it's been a few minutes, and most of the smog has lifted. There's like a steady stream of black from like the beetle, but it's no longer like a cloud. It's mostly kind of lifting and streaming off.
It's all going out into that big sort of opening in the ceiling. I take it. Okay.
She kind of. So what was the question you asked? It was why do all this? Why?
Yeah, I think it kind of just to kind of reinforce what Balthazar was saying. It's like, why do this? All this.
Lots of them would chip in and say like, helping doesn't always mean doing the right thing.
And she kind of looks at you and doesn't, and goes back to you, Pipistrelle. Sort of looks at Lutzen and has heard what you said, and goes back to you and is angry again and says, we're making our own place where no one can hurt us. No brands, no guilds, no liquors, only freedom. And then she turns back to you, Lutz, and says, what you made? And then kind of gestures at the beetle. What you've made changes lives. It changes how we can live. And what were you going to do? Give it to beavers? Help them build another dam? They don't need another dam. They have plenty of space. You didn't need it. And speaking of all of this, what have you done? For weeks now, you've chased me. I didn't even know you were following me. Until, days ago, when I crossed. And even now, I'm hearing that you've hurt and maimed to get this back. And now, you just wanted to destroy it? All you want to do is ruin. And she's pacing a little bit.
Yeah.
If you want to respond, this is the opportunity.
Balthazar, you go first.
Okay. I think Balthazar just kind of looks at her both in like kind of. I think he's pretty pent up to be accused of such things. Or accused. I mean, she's laying it out, but also he says, You cannot fault people who, however they call themselves people. You cannot fault us for reacting to being robbed by wanting to seek justice and righteousness. You took what was not yours from us, from Lutzen. If you had at any point stated your intents and your purpose with the candor that you have shown us now, none of this should have happened.
And she sort of laughs a little bit and says, "Oh, but if something was wrong, why didn't you ask for help? Why didn't you go to your precious Craftpaw Guild and all the other bastards out there?" I don't think she said bastards, I think she said vermin.
Oh!
Ooh.
How dare she? I think like Pip would kind of would chime in at this point
Bip
and
slap.
say, "Bip slap," and she'd say, "You know, just because you have been branded by the Craftpaw Guild," and she would like gesture at Lutzen, "does not mean that we all agree with that. We don't. You didn't have to ask for help, but you didn't have to lie and cheat and steal to get what you wanted. We are all beasts, are we not? Do you not think that you could have asked? But not even asked. You don't think you could have just been honest?" I think she's like, this is probably like the angriest that she's probably ever been. Like she doesn't want to be accused of being like, well, you know, how dare you say like we asked. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't have to even be. You didn't have to be. You didn't have to show us your brand. You could have at least just been honest about why you wanted the Iron Beetle in the first place.
And to this, Chipper says, again, like pointing at like or gesturing at like where the brand is. She says, "When you've got this, no one trusts you. No one speaks to you. They don't treat you like you're alive. They treat you like meat."
Balthazar, like, this is really bad, but he's just gonna look at her and say, "I didn't know what that brand is until 3 days ago. There are beasts out there who exist outside of these strange organizations and games that you play. You just have to seek them out. Don't partake of no guilds. We don't know what these brands are. We aren't privy to the protection that guilds and all these organizations grant each other. We live our lives peacefully and righteously and the best that we can. I'm sorry that the world was unjust to you, and I'm sorry that you have found yourself without many options at paw. But acts of goodness are not always wise, and acts of evil are not always foolish. But regardless, we shall always strive to be good."
And I think to this, she says, "It is so hard to be good all the time when you're always met with cruelty."
I think Lutzen will step forward towards Chipper and
She
will
steps
place a
back.
paw.
Oh.
And okay.
Defensively, not running.
Yeah. I think he would like again just like raise a paw very like non-harmfully and wants to like place it on her shoulder
She doesn't let
and
go.
just it's fair. I think he'll like acknowledge that and he'll put his paws by his side and will just say, "I'm sorry that the guild has hurt you. They haven't trusted you, but we're willing to listen. This thing has caused so much harm and destruction in its wake, and that's at my paws. I don't feel like this is who can be trusted with it. It leaves destruction everywhere. This is not good for beast kind. It changes things, but is that for better?"
She scoffs a bit when you say like it's wrought destruction and it's no good. And she kind of responds and says, "All of this rock and soil up here, it's hard to plow and move and shift with just these." And she lifts up, small squirrel paws and says, "But that, farms on mountains. We won't have to live in the bristly woods. There's space for everybody. And we can leave all of this." And he kind of gestures at the brand and the kind of the guilds. "And we can leave it behind. That is change. That
But if it starts
can
here,
be good.
where does it end?
But what do they want it to do? Pump water.
I understand your frustration, but if it starts here, where does it end? It just breeds competition and unfairness and
And she laughs when you
again,
say
No, it does not.
violence.
Lutzen, it does not. It makes life easier. That's what she said. They don't want to cause more harm. They just want to live. Doesn't everyone have a right for that?
So she laughs, sort of at what both of you are saying. She laughs, she chuckles a little bit when you say it breeds competition, and then when you say, don't all beasts just want to live in peace? And she says, do you want to know why I got my brand?
Why?
If you're willing to share.
Sorry, I was going to say that. Anyway. Do you know why I got my brand? Helping. I went out to smaller places, and I did the one thing you're not meant to do in the guild. I gave away my services for free. They said it was devaluing what the guild had and their relationships with other guilds. And they warned me. They said, no, can't do that. You've got to take payment. You've got to work for it. They got to give you something. And then they kicked me out.
Wait, do guilds do that? He looks over at both Lutzen and Pipistrelle, because Tolds probably
Yeah, that
don't even
doesn't-
do money. They're just like, they
Yeah.
just do their own thing. They're like,
Like, can I?
they're
can I-
communists
Yeah. Does it? Like, does that
or
sound?
socialists.
Does that sound right? I don't like. I don't know. Like, what would how would Lutzen
I mean, is this something
from
that
his
like
experience?
is this something that like
So-
all members of the Craftpaw Guild would do, or is this like just a particular?
Yeah, is this like an individual? that
yeah,
has-
like a particularly
You
corrupt
wondered where-
subsect.
Have the sensation, because you kind of put it all together, you're kind of speaking to Chipper. Chipper seems older than you guys.
Mhm.
Maybe 10, 20 years. And you get the feeling that you're seeing stuff above your pay grade, so to speak.
Right.
You haven't heard of stuff like this. In fact, you've never heard of Chipper or any Craftpaw branded beasts.
Mm.
But here's one in front of you. And Pipistrelle, in a similar sense, you're kind of contemplating, like, who would get branded by the Messenger Guild?
Yeah.
Would someone get branded by the Messenger Guild? Why haven't I ever heard of someone, even as a warning?
Yeah, I feel like, obviously, like, she's in her own mind, she's like, that doesn't sound right at all. Why would anybody be branded for helping? That doesn't seem doesn't seem like at all that it aligns with what the guilds were set up for. And like,
Yeah.
I don't think she has ever come across another messenger who's been branded by the Messengers Guild. That just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
I
like
know
to
anyway.
think that
That's not
Lutzen
something that
and-
happens. Yeah,
Lutzen
sorry.
could probably share a look of kind of like this kind of conflict going on, like in their minds between them.
Mhm.
Of just like, that doesn't sound right, and I don't quite know what to say to that.
Yeah.
But I kind of
Because like
I feel like I need to apologize on their behalf. That is, to my knowledge, what the guilds are set up to do, to help. I'm sorry that they've done that to you, that they've treated you like this for wanting to help. I'm genuinely sorry.
She kind of crosses her arms and doesn't really have anything to say.
We've been
You
chasing
get
you.
the feeling she's not
because we didn't know-
accepting the apology, and she also doesn't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
to say in response.
That's fair.
makes sense.
We've been following you because we didn't know your intent. We didn't know what you were doing, where you were going, what you intended to do with this thing. That there was competition. There was people who wanted to know more about it, and without knowing their intent and without that honesty, who knows what it could have gotten up to.
And on that topic, I may be presuming, but in your lack of options, it seems that you have come into contact with this Yeep Grainpaw. Or, if that is their true name, as apparently it might be a member of the Guild of Knowers. Is this where we are?
So you say yeep, and she sort of tenses a little, and then you say part of the Guild of Knowers, and then she sort of smirks a bit. And says, yeah, sure, this is the Guild of Knowers. Of course, that's where we are.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
You said that. I think you weren't earnest when you said that.
Oh.
Are you being sarcastic with me?
Yes.
I just think Balthazar gets very close at that. He just like kind of croaks a bit and is like, you
Yeah,
being
yeah,
honest with me. The eyes like squint and do like the little like pupil dilation thing and just like shoo.
Yeah.
Oh, with those scary
Well,
golden
then-
eyes. Being sarcastic.
Are you being sarcastic with me? Well then, what is the truth, Chipper? We're all being candid here. We just want to understand.
We've heard your story and we're willing to listen if we've not shown that already.
Pipistrelle, I want you to make a cunning roll for me.
Absolutely.
Just a straight one, because it's something to
Okay.
do with one of your talents.
Okay, hang on. Where is my character sheet? Oh, the character sheet's there. I'm stupid. Cunning. Ooh, okay.
You hear very gently somewhere deep within the cave, the one that Chipper's standing in front of, a splash. Several splashes.
Oh.
Chipper then
It's the
kind
bad
of
periods.
leans back on one foot and then says, this isn't a guild. This isn't anything to do with the Knowers. Yeep was a Knower. He's as good as branded as the rest of us.
I think Balthazar is kind of thinking about all of the other branded beasts that we saw. And he says, if this isn't a guild, Chipper, is this an army?
Oh my god.
And Chipper seems to kind of pause and think at that and go, I don't think it's an army. We're not here to invade. We want our own place.
So it's a revolution.
Maybe. I like to think that we're settlers and we're going somewhere else. No one wants to live up in these mountains anyway.
I think Pip is kind of. She's thinking a lot of things. She's very aware of that splash, though. Did anyone else hear that, or was it just her?
Make a willpower check for me, straight.
E.
Do you want information at a cost, or do you want to know nothing?
Oh. Oh.
Information's always good. It's good for the plot.
It is. I mean, actually. Yeah, you know what? I
Does it
think
expose you?
I think at this stage, I think information is kind of invaluable at the moment. If I'm being very honest.
You hear the splash, and then you sort of, louder than you intend to say, you kind of lean to Lutzen and say, did you hear that? And when you say that, you notice a very slight twitch from Chipper, indicating that she also heard that.
Damn those squirrel ears! I think. Okay, Pip's gonna.
As in, she heard the splash, or she heard Pip?
The splash. Also, everyone heard Pip because Pip was just really loud. Pip was like, did
Yeah,
you hear that?
Did you guys hear that? Oh,
What was that?
My,
oh my God.
my dumb, wonderful idiot Batgirl. Oh, okay.
Aw.
I think. Okay, Pip. If Pip noticed that Chipper heard that, she's not intimidating, but I think she is gonna try. Like, not an intimidation tactic, but she's gonna do the kind of she's gonna do that kind of creepy stare thing that she does when she's trying to be intimidating, and just say, Chipper, just to like get her attention. What was that?
Make a willpower check, but at disadvantage.
Mm,
You're trying to connect, but also you're reaching the limit of empathy.
yeah, can I tag my good judge of character because she's being really observant and is like watching her body language and her ear twitching and her tail twitching, etc.
Yeah.
And seeing if she gives anything away.
So that makes it a straight roll.
Straight willpower.
Yeah.
I'm kind of considering. If I were to use my auto other, would I have to say it before it rolls? I never remember.
You could say it after she rolls.
Okay.
After
That's
the roll, but
considering.
before the result is like
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Stated.
got you.
Okay. I will roll and see what happens.
Yeah.
So complication.
It's up to you, Fraser. I'm not going to ask you to use it.
I want to know what that is, but I feel like maybe there's a better time to use it when we're in more dire straits.
Yeah,
That is fair.
I feel like you want to use it to save yourself from a hijinks.
True.
Or save someone else.
Or
it's fine.
someone
A
rather than
complication's,
yourself.
a complication's okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You barely managed to pull it off, but not without consequence. I'm gonna say that Chipper says, "Doesn't matter. It's too late." And then she starts to back off into the cave.
No.
I think Balthazar doesn't reach after her, because he actually is empathizing with their plight in a way.
Yeah.
But he just kind of stands there, like, looking at her just very intently. Like he's obviously not making any attempt to move in her direction or catch her, even though he likely could.
Yeah.
So she stops, like, on the carpet in the hallway there,
Mm-hmm.
and is talking a bit louder
Okay.
to kind of match you guys. But yeah, it's too late.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Fair. I feel like Liz wants to say something, but
I feel like there
I
might
feel like
be.
moments past of like, I'm sorry
Yeah.
that you haven't found people who are willing to listen.
I feel like and this is just my own conjectures. Obviously, you guys step in if this is wrong. But like, I feel like there's like a moment of solidarity between the three of us where we all just kind of, after all this time, after everything that we try to do, we all just kind of look at each other, and then we look at Chipper, and we just
Kind of understand.
kind of leave it, and just let her go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think empathizing with our plight for sure. That this is.
I think Balthazar will speak up and say, "What do you need, Chipper? Your people, all of you.
Make a
We
willpower
came
check.
here." Oh, okay. Because I think he'll say,
keep going.
he'll say, "I will be the first to admit we came here in pursuit, but I think now we find ourselves here wanting to offer help. What do you need?"
Make
And-
a willpower check at advantage.
Yes. Thank you. I would have tagged
Yeah.
his do-gooder for him from his aspirant job, but
Yeah. Do you have that, or do you want to?
oh, sorry.
Is
Do I
that a
have
skill
what?
that you have, or that you're learning?
It is a skill that I have, but I guess I could technically tag righteous, because it is a righteous thing to help. So I will tag it, and also
I'd let you get a tick on that then.
yeah, I got a complication, and I want to invoke a Fraser. Do you want to help me out?
Yeah. No. Like that's a fair. I think that's a good use of it.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah, I'm going to use the auto success on that one.
I just feel we want to succeed on, because I feel like this might be the last moment before like some army of branded.
This is like a turning point.
Mm.
I think to like how I will help with that auto success is by saying that I'm so sorry that you haven't found the right people before who are willing to listen, but we're here now, and hopefully we can make reparations for that.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Chipper. So you get a success. You do as well as you can. Balthazar, you're trying to emotionally connect and make reparation here.
Well, it's because he's
No,
not
make
responsible
rep-
for what the guilds did, but
Yeah.
he's just like, you need help. How can we
Yeah.
help then?
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
we've been doing that to everyone we've met. You know, the wolf with the wolf
Mhm.
with everything. We're
Yeah.
like, we'll help you.
Understanding and helping.
So Chipper pauses and waits, and there is like a tense silence. She doesn't move further into the cave. You hear another splash.
Shit.
Is it
And
loud
then she
enough that
says-
everybody heard that? Sorry.
Loud enough that everyone heard that. And she kind of looks down, I'm going to make a little mark, this passage. And she turns and she says, we need food, we need shelter, we need respect, and we don't need guilds. And she walks a little bit closer in the hallway.
Balthazar kind of nods. He says, well, north of Loch Katrine, among the toad logs, we do not have guilds. And as isolated as we are, I imagine we could establish trade routes. We've had a few new recruits lately. Now I think at least one of them could traverse the air easily. The other land, if they're willing. He says, thinking of a giant wolf with a bunch of provisions on his back.
Yeah. She moves from like a flighty stance to more of a guarded stance, and she says, all right, come in. And slowly starts to walk this way.
Okay.
Balthazar follows because we are now allies.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
I think Pip, she definitely sympathizes with the plight of all these branded beasts, but she's also very aware that, yeah, we did some bad stuff, definitely, to some of them, but equally, they felt there was definitely moments where there are branded beasts who full on tried to kill us and have been stealing. So she sympathizes, but she is nervous. So she's gonna look at Lutzen and see what he does first, because she's full nerves right now. She's full bat nervous.
Yeah, I think Lutzen shares a very similar look and kind of feels a bit of similar shame in that, in trying to achieve what we wanted, we also hurt people.
Yeah.
Or
Agreed.
Lutzen specifically has hurt people or hurt beasts. I think he moves in to the space quite with trepidation.
Yeah,
I think he's a bit hesitant, but is willing to listen and willing to, benefit of the doubt.
It's at this point, I'm gonna zoom out, so to speak, to a couple minutes. Chipper, defensively but openly, sort of walks you round this cave space. A lot of the tension seems to be still in how she speaks to you, but also she's not gonna run away. I'm just gonna change the music a sec. The space here is mostly natural cave, as I said, with certain areas carved out or emphasized. And you see here that the little caves up here to the north are mostly... Oh, hang on, the wrong layer. Oops. Up here, where I just done the X, those are mostly sleeping spaces, little nooks and hollows and not bunk beds, but hammocks strung across the ceiling for maybe 30 or 40 beasts of varying sizes. Nothing larger than maybe a squirrel or a hedgehog. The spaces here are also large enough for you guys to move through, but anything larger than maybe a badger would really struggle to move through these spaces.
Okay.
You see evidence that there were beasts here. There's even a cook pot, boiling, making dinner in the dining hall, mid making meal, and all of the beasts are gone. She doesn't say it, but you notice there is a cistern, where I'm going to put the C here. There's a cave and then a shallow bank of water that kind of descends into depths, and you see there is water splashed everywhere.
Right.
And you have the vibe that they might have swum out via the cistern. But Chipper doesn't say it outright. Yeah, and this has taken me a couple minutes, and Chipper has sort of just like very stoically shown you around. Something else you notice? Yeah, she's very stoic, very quiet, and she's sort of not quiet in a very loud way.
Is she like? Is she like? Is it like pride that she's showing this with pride, or
A little bit.
is she like, look at what we've built here, or is it more of a like we don't need, this is why we don't need the guilds, you know, we've done this by
It's a
ourselves
mixture
kind
of
of
all
thing.
of those. It's like, this is why we don't need you, and
Yeah.
this is what we did without you, and also this is what you've destroyed. So something a very, very present is you get the feeling that there are a fair amount of beasts in this space, and while Chipper was talking to you, they have all left.
Right. I think in walking around, and like a pure appreciation of the like ingenuity and, you know, kind of engineering and everything, I think Lutzen will say, like, very earnestly, this is amazing. You've done a brilliant job here. I'm sorry. Again, we didn't know your intents. And I'm sorry.
And she pauses and, arms crossed, she says, it's difficult being branded, being outside of this system, and being in it. No one's wholly at fault.
I can't even begin to imagine.
I don't like what the lock pirates do. But who else is going to help them out? Who's going to take them in? Who's going to take us in? It's hard to eat when anytime you go anywhere they make food, they farm or they forage, you're shunned. And it's hard to leave
kind of
when you have to travel for weeks through these mountains with nothing.
Yeah, I think Lutzen's just like nodding slowly along in agreement.
She says, it's only mountains north of here. And west. You get over the crossing lock, and what is it? Mountains. No food. Grass, maybe. You can't survive on grass. And the west, or the east, you've got the Green Wall. Endless forests. And the boars. And I hear there's behemoths out there. There's deer and wolves and other things. Death. And to the south? Open marsh. The Bristly Woods is an island of food and safety, and these guilds, they think they're doing something good, but they're not. Anyone who doesn't fit, kick them out.
I'm sorry you feel that way, that they've done you wrong, but I think there can be reparations made. I think a relationship can blossom from this. You've built something beautiful here. And there's potential. And I think it just takes an open discussion.
She seems to ruefully look at, there's a circle painted on one of the walls in the kitchen with like a crude emblem of fire on it. She kind of shakes her head and says, it's almost like we were making our own guild of branded, and God, you can't get out of it. Once you know a system your whole life, you're stuck.
I think Pip
Hopefully things change.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think Pip would say as well, you know, how do I put this? Like, the guilds have done you and many other of these branded beasts they've done you wrong. But is that not what it means to be beast? We naturally care about each other and look after each other. And even if the guilds are flawed, at the core, at least, what their intentions were was good. Camaraderie and helpfulness.
I think Lutzen will follow on with that and glance at, and kind of lock eyes with Pip and then with Balthazar, and will say, and to be beast is to find kinship with others from all over the place. And you've done that here, and you've established that. And that's beautiful.
I want someone to make a willpower check for like the. Oh, well, if Balthazar wants to say something, to round it up. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have exactly like the same outlook because he says, this is a start, but this is no way to live. Not with zest and dignity, I suppose. Just hidden away underground in tunnels where nobody can see you. These beasts seek freedom, not a prison they made for themselves. No, this cannot be. He's kind of like pacing around, like something must be done. Perhaps the other logs. I mean, there's many of them, and if the guilds don't want to help, well, that's on them. They don't
place a paw.
They don't
on
keep
his
up our
shoulder.
code of honor.
Lutzen will place a paw on Balthazar's shoulder, and just very like kindly kind of stare into his toad eyes that probably drift a little bit.
Big scary eyes.
And I think he'll just say, no, Balthazar, you're absolutely right. This is no way to live, but it's the start. And change takes the push.
Well, if you want that push, Lutzen, you better start working on that beetle.
And I think he'll kind of giggle at that.
Balthazar's like very serious.
Mm.
He doesn't have like a kind of, gentle, like, I'm sorry what they did to you, and we can do this. He's like very much like, we have to get to work. Like, this is this is a shithole. We gotta, like, this is bad. How are people living like this? Like, he doesn't get it because he comes from logs. Like, they're different.
Yeah,
literally.
I said Lutzen gives a giggle. I don't think that's right. I don't think that fits the kind of the vibe. But he kind of like maybe like nods more like solemnly and just is like just in agreement. And I think he'll lock eyes with Chipper and say, I built this thing and I didn't know what it could do, what it would unlock. But I think, you're right. This is a worthy cause for it. But you need to let people know your intent. You need to be open to sharing and conversation. But this is a good start for now.
I think at this, I want you to make a willpower check at disadvantage.
This is like you're teaching her a lesson.
Is kind of condescended it a little bit.
I didn't mean it to do that.
And I don't think that's what Lutzen would intend.
No,
but it's kind of what's coming out of this.
I mean, like, the thing, like, Balthazar would call him out on it, because Balthazar would say, this is not time for teaching lessons, Lutzen. This is time for action.
Okay,
Chipper, do you think you could help Lutzen with, you are a Craftpaw yourself. Perhaps you have tools or insight that can help him fill in the blanks that he has found himself with.
So she sort of goes to take offense at what you say, Lutzen, and then sort of like it holds back with what you say, Balthazar. And she says, well, we need to let those fires die down. Take all the air out of those caves. And we need to let it cool down, and then we can see if we can fix it. I think they may have left. And she kind of goes and looks at the kitchen, and she says, left some food here. If we can fix it up, and then... There's a lot of different things that need to happen. We need to go down to Ladies' Bank, and we need to see if the Sparrowhawks have moved on. They've been harassing us for months, by the way, because they know no one's going to come out and help us.
Well, next time they will be very surprised to find a whole squadron of mud furies waiting for them. Ambush fighters. They can take out.
And she goes, huh? Oh, okay. She's like, furious mud. She kind of goes with it. She's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever those are. And she says, and then it's gonna be. We had an exit plan, and then she kind of tells. You swim through the cistern to an underground river, and if you can hold your breath long enough, you'll make it out to another underground cave. You need to go through and tell them that you're not necessarily broken up now. Ugh. And as for the tools, and she kind of goes through, and you notice there's like a little hidden crevice. Through the sort of like near this kind of passage of the kitchen. That's like you wouldn't have noticed it because you're having to guide, by the way, by candlelight. Because it's pretty much pitch black in the cave. So you're kind of guiding by smell and pour and candlelight. There's a crevice that you wouldn't have noticed that she kind of shows you. And really, like Balthazar, you wouldn't make it through if you had your armor on. You have to sort of, it would scrape and get stuck. It's very tight and goes up and down and leads to a pocket of stone where there's plans and tools, or at least there were. There's a little open air cavity here, and what seemed to be tables that had some like notes and books and tools laid out on them. You actually hear it before you see it. Chipper going, no, vermin bird. And you come in and you notice that the place has been ransacked.
Oh no.
It's the fucking same guy who stole shit from Greer!
The magpie.
Yeah! I bet!
Who is this magpie?
Oh, fucking...
And she kind of kicks one of the tables over, and it kind of crashes onto the ground and breaks a little bit. And she just sits down on a stool and just sort of goes, well, ain't nothing that I didn't make. And then she sort of takes out of her waistcoat and sort of flips it onto the ground. It's your notebook, Lutzen.
Oh.
The one that you dropped many sessions ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think Lutzen goes to grab it. I think he just leaves it to her.
Does the notebook have like
Property of Lutzen.
Yeah, property of Lutzen written on it?
Does it
I
have
don't
his
think
paw
he
print
would
in
have.
it?
It's covered in like doodles.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like very like scrappy. It's like it's the writings of a
child's
bad rat.
diary.
Yeah, it's like it makes sense to Lutzen, and honestly, the fact that Chipper's managed to decode, frankly, any of it is a wonder, in and of itself.
At this point, you have that introspection, Lutzen, that Chipper is a very talented craft.
Oh yeah. I think if he you know what, he will pick it up, and he will open to the first page, which I think has details in it. Like a little paw mark, but I think it's also scribed with you see there's a name there, but it's been scored out and replaced with Lutzen. And like a little paw that sits there, paw print that's there. And he takes a second and he'll rip out the page, and then we'll close the book and hand it back to Chipper.
Oh.
You need this more than I do, but we can work together. It's of more use
She
to
kind of
yourself.
takes it and nods very genuinely at you, and takes this as like a sign of you actually believing in what she's doing, and that you guys do actually want to help to some degree. And she says, well, if he's gonna fly off, he never said he was gonna stay around. He always seemed he had one, I say one leg, he's one-legged. It always seemed like he had one claw out the door. His name isn't Yeep. It's what he uses to trade with. His name's Kned. Did something that pissed off the Noahs. Something, I don't know what. Doesn't talk about it. But he knows all sorts of stuff. About Titans, about the guilds. He seems to have dirt on everyone. But for some reason they want him dead. He was the one who actually came up with this idea for the association, the branded beasts coming together.
The sanctuary.
No. Minute he saw that something was going south, he left though. Took everything. Kind of gestures at the tables. You notice there's like some books are missing. Scraps of like paper everywhere. Some are still around, but like it's definitely showed signs that someone was in here and then left.
Right.
I think Pip would sort of do the thing that Pip does, where she thinks she's saying something under her breath, but it's not, and where she kind of looks at the destruction left by this this bird and is like, coward.
Does Pip do this because like so she obviously can hear very well? Does she just not realize how loud she's actually being?
The joke is that long-eared brown bats are known as whispering bats because they are so quiet, and she's aware that she can be really quiet so people can't hear her. So she intentionally makes herself louder so people can hear her, but she forgets sometimes to actually be quiet again.
And to adjust the volume.
It's sort of like speaking to people when you have headphones on.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, can you hear me?
Yeah, basically, and they're like,
yeah, I like that.
she's just kind of.
She's got permanent noise cancelling headphones on.
Basically.
Yeah. Sorry, I completely rejected there.
Yeah, sorry.
Coward.
I feel like
funny.
At that point, we're gonna start. Maybe like the camera starts to zoom out of the hole in the ceiling, the natural like skylight that Yeep Grainpaw or maybe Kined has left through, and we're gonna start to transition to more like hour by hour and day by day sort of description with little scenes.
A denouement.
So, what do you guys want to do over the next couple days?
Balthazar takes upon the title of a toad ambassador, an ambassador toad of toaddom, and I think he's kind of gonna. A little bit of his like military training kicks in, where he will kind of get an idea of how many people there are, what kind of like rations are needed. He's gonna be like, okay, we felt that like summer's rolling over, autumn is happening soon. Okay, we need to get stuff done. I'm no merchant, but I know merchant toads. My cousin's a merchant toad, and my other cousin's a merchant toad. And
aren't all toads cousins?
Exactly.
All toads are cousins. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Love that.
All toads are cousins. Yeah.
I know Merchant Toad is my cousin. I also know another one, and also one
They're
who does
also my
this.
They're also my cousins.
Born at the same time, all 4,000 of us.
From Chipper, he's going to get an idea of what kind of like skills these people have, because they could have skills that they could essentially like rent. In exchange for trade, they could do work at the logs, or they could provide services. Because the toads, like, they do a lot by themselves, but there's stuff that they really like artisanal things. They like fine art and stuff like that. So he's going to get an idea of like basically what he can put forth as an offer. And he is going to set out, presumably with Chipper's not mitigation, with Chipper's
Permission.
Oh, I forget words.
Permission.
Like, what?
Permission.
Permission. Well, permission, but also like she can parlay with the pirates, so he can hitch a ride to towards Blueberry Pond to get this stuff started, because
So
work needs to be done.
We're gonna have a scene. The pirates have survived the attack from the Sparrowhawks. You generally get the story from like speaking with them as a group that they only really steal food and things they think they can trade at a later date. They don't tend to hurt people, but also they acknowledge that there could be like consequences beyond that. Like they might be indirectly hurting people. They agree to stop raiding along the lock for about a month, or for as long as they think it'd be reasonable to start organizing some kind of trading deal with the toad logs. and you're able to get a ship
It's
back
fine.
to...
If you don't like it, we'll just go to war and hash it out like that.
Oh my God.
And you're like,
Fight
an
me,
organized
bitch.
campaign, and they're like,
And then
Yeah.
Balthazar's like, haha, just kidding.
I've always wanted to be an admiral.
Oh my God.
You get a boat back to Blueberry Pond, which isn't actually on the loch, so you have to sort of hike up a little bit to get back to
fine.
the pond. And you meet back up with your... I think it's... I don't think it's mentor, but it's the toad who sent you on this journey in
Yeah,
the first
Liminal.
place.
Yeah, oh
No,
my
God,
god.
I think it was
Liminal.
This
Oh my
is
God.
this is even further back. I think this is
Lazarus?
Quincy? No,
Quincy.
Lazarus.
No,
Lazarus.
they're from Thorny Log. Yeah, I think it's Liminal. I
Yeah.
think Liminal's the guy I had my first conversation with.
Mm.
Lazarus is another knight whose squire is Boggart.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
I've got
convinced it
Lavinia,
was
Lazarus,
Liminal-
and Liminal
Liminal.
written out in my notes, but I don't know who's dead and who's
Yeah.
alive.
I think Liminal is the one who I had the opening scene with, where he was
Yeah.
asking me if I'm okay before
So-
he had the horrible Victorian British accent that I forced on all toads.
So you see Liminal, and Liminal is a mixture of very happy to see you and also a little exasperated.
Oh.
Because you kind of... The first thing you see when approaching the log is a wolf. By the log.
Yes.
And
Let
Lazarus...
me remind myself. his name real quick. Manus. Okay.
Manus Piercer, you could have... Before you get... they've seen the boat approaching with... and you kind of hiking up. And kind of Lazarus comes out from the log, which is mostly kind of like a self-contained thing with large pools of water around it that you kind of harvest slugs in different farms. And so Lazarus is striding out from the log in clunking plate. He goes, "Balthazar, where have you been? It has been weeks since you were meant to be escorting Pipistrelle to Oak. I asked you to connect us to the guilds, and you sent us a bird and a wolf? That's a wolf? And do you know how many slugs it takes to feed a wolf? It is... We are running out!
Wait, is this Lazarus or Liminal?
Liminal. Lazarus isn't here, sorry.
Liminal,
I think
okay.
Lazarus is dead.
Balthazar kind of smiles and says, Liminal, my good cousin, I never even made it to Oak!
And Liminal's like, I know! I have had non-stop worried letters delivered on the daily by Pipistrelle's parents.
Oh,
The tailors.
God.
They're terrified. They think she's dead. What have you been playing at?
Well, we haven't been playing. We have been on a grand quest. We've been making connections, and now apart from the fine bird knight and wolf knight, we could also establish a trade route with a bunch of beasts that were excommunicated by the guilds.
And Liminal is just goes from a dull brown to a flushed brown of anger. This is so much more complicated than I ever expected. You're going to my office
Presley
right
was-
now.
The Presley was a very complicated cousin. The strangest connections that beasts have just baffle me every day, but, well, perhaps it might be a little foolish what I am doing. It is the right thing. It is the honorable way.
And as you
And
say
that's-
this, you realize that you are much closer to eye level with Liminal than when you first left. And you've been calling Liminal cousin out of instinct, because just sort of natural balance of power, because previously Knight Liminal was uncle to you. Seemingly bigger and more powerful, because anyone who's kind of bigger and older is aunt or uncle, and anyone who's younger and smaller is nephew.
Oh,
Oh my god,
that's
toads
adorable.
Toads are just the best, honestly.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I
Yeah.
think there's
So
like
I guess
there's-
instinctively.
Yeah.
Cousin, yeah. Ooh, he's a
They're on
growing
the
table.
boy.
Yeah.
There's a slight... So maybe there's a couple days where you're organizing, you explain, and Liminal believes you and realizes that everything is much more complicated than just go make some friends.
Yeah. Well, he'll do the whole thing. They brand people, cousin. They put hot irons on their skin and tell them they can't be there anymore. What cruelty! What strange customs!
And I think he has like the Ghibli shiver, but just with warts, not hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Horrible
He's like,
things. I hate it.
I like things cold and wet.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
So
Preaching to the
you
choir,
spent a
my
couple days
fellow
organising things. During this time, what are Lutzen and Pipistrelle doing?
I think it's fairly obvious that Lutzen would just be preparing the beetle with Chipper. I think the two of them will be working together very like, not like paw and paw, but very closely to try and repair, and Lutzen will be taking notes and maybe like trying to make improvements as well to make this thing a bit stronger and a bit more like substantial. Probably by complete flukes, but like Chipper turns her back for like a minute, and there's like a new working leg come out of fucking nowhere. And like, oh, I did it.
So how did you do that? I don't know.
I couldn't quite tell you, but it's there now.
And it works.
And it kind of
I feel
works.
like this links personally into what you're doing in your real life, but like maybe it's got roller skates now.
Yes.
Yes. I think it has deployable like wheels, like little wheels that can make
Like
it
an airplane.
It's
Yes,
fast.
yes. For like stability and for just like yes, just
I love
yes.
that.
On flat
That's amazing.
surfaces, it kind of skitters around like a water glider on a pond.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Oh,
nice.
Smart.
This is now an all-terrain vehicle.
I love that.
No,
That's
I feel like
brilliant.
it'd be
And
good.
I'm gonna say it's it's gonna take more than a couple days to get these sorts of changes, but the beginning of your like partnership working on this with Chipper, Chipper's complementing your very scatterbrained approach much more than Qiang ever did. Working with you. Qiang always was irate and hated taking notes for you and didn't understand what you were doing. He seemed very dismissive. And Chipper is at least trying to pass and digest what you're doing into actual notes and schematics.
And I feel like there's a moment or a few moments where Chipper does something very, very similar, and Lutzen tries and like, oh look, oh that's amazing, and he would like try and take notes, and then maybe like they're just scribbles that he can make sense of kind of at the moment. But he'll be like, and he'll kind of like compare and contrast the notes, and Chipper will maybe take the pen or whatever and like cross it out and like no, like this, and maybe they're kind of just bouncing off to and fro from each other. Like I think they're, I would say like equals in a sense, but I think Chipper is, clearly much smarter, or in like a different way. I'll say, different history.
You are equally abled and smart in different ways.
Yes,
where you
yes,
have
and the
weird
combination works
ideas,
well.
Chipper has age and experience.
Yes.
Ah,
for
that's
sure.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a good partnership that works.
I will say there you are breathing on your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I would just stop breathing.
Thanks.
Jesus.
And
Thanks for being so considerate.
I do apologize though. I'm using
yeah.
a different mic now, and it's more difficult to manage.
there hasn't been a
sorry.
single problem so far, so yeah. Anyway, Atlanta, or Pipistrelle,
Yes.
I'm gonna say you accompany Balthazar back, and while Balthazar is like early on in the process of being yelled at by Liminal and then having a council with all the other like a knight's council is drawn, which is not really often done, and Balthazar has to update them about and sort of like it's almost like tourist slides, but not quite, to sort of tell them about the entire last few weeks of everything, and of course, as Balthazar would go into excruciating detail. And then I bought this teapot that looks like a cat.
But
I lost it in the
unfortunately, they all got smashed and they all got lost. But I will draw in the dirt a picture of it, and you'll see just how perfectly delightful it was.
And all of the toads are like, oh, yes, smashing. Oh, sorry.
Too soon, cousin.
At this time, Pipistrelle, you've got a large wad of letters that end maybe a week ago, worriedly asking about where you are. At one point, Liminal does explain that they eventually responded with the messages back saying, we don't think Pipistrelle's coming back, we don't know where they are. What are you gonna do?
Oh my god. I think... Oh, you know what? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I think while Balthazar is catching up with all of his cousins and nephews and nieces and aunts and uncles and everybody at the Toad Log, there's a little bit of a moment where she goes to sit by the riverbank, and she has got some paper, some writing equipment, and she writes her parents a very long letter, firstly apologizing for not having come home yet, and that they need not worry. She hasn't gone elsewhere. It's just there has been so much happening, and she kind of gives a little summation with not just alluding to the danger. She's not going to tell her parents exactly how much danger she has been in times.
I've nearly died
I was
5
nearly
times.
killed 3 times. Oh yeah, same brain cell.
I know what owls are. Very close up now. No, she writes this very long letter, kind of talking about her adventures and the wonderful friends that she's made. And she talks about how she misses Odok. And she finishes the letter saying how much she misses them and that she wishes them very well and that she will come home. She will come home one day. And she takes her moon messenger sigil out of her bag. She wraps it up in the letter. And she takes off her Odok tunic and wraps the letter in the tunic. And because the postscript on it says, I need to find my new cause, and I hope that you will let me do that. She's leaving the Moon Messengers. She can't do it anymore.
Pip!
So she is now just a funny little bat in a flight suit.
But that's
she's
cute.
she's so
She's an
disenfranchised.
adventurer.
Yeah, she's so disenfranchised with everything that she thought about Chipper and what they were trying to do, and she has lost all faith in the guild system. And she doesn't know she can go back to Odok yet. And she she'll take this over to, I don't know if there's like a local chapter house of the Noon
So
Messengers.
you could fly it to.
Not in the log.
Funnily enough, you could fly this to Bramble Dam, to the messenger post there that you tried to sneak a look at with the parcels.
all the way back in like the very
yeah.
first episode of Beast Fables when she was
God,
still
yeah.
recovering.
I think you
I think
have you're kind of, you fly down, and it's sort of a strange sense of familiarity of where you're going, and you are accosted by the nurse.
Oh, yes! Beaver!
The beaver nurse, whose name I have. I think her name was Nurse Iona.
Iona!
Yes, that's her. That's her.
Yes!
Yep.
Oh my
Iona
god!
So
Iona.
is then
good.
immediately like, "Where's your salve? And why is this is healed, but it's all scabby? And you want me to take care of it?" And it's very angry, but in like a caring way.
Yeah, like in a mum way.
A little bit. Not so far as to go like mum, but just sort of like, I put all this work in to make you better, and you walk off, you get attacked by an owl.
You're a project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's adorable.
And you send off the post, and I feel like the Toad Log has been maybe looking towards longer periods of time, maybe like a month after you first left, and messengers are now maybe once a week. Or Crier. Crier is flying back and forth between Bramble Dam doing messages.
Yeah.
For the log.
Yeah.
And you get a message back almost like the next day from your parents being like,
Oh wow.
"We're so glad you're safe. We thought you were dead.
Oh god.
We didn't know. We always held out hope. Why are you leaving the messengers? It's such a stable job. You know, there's so much space in Odok, and you know,
Very parental.
business is picking up. We need you back at the shop. If you're not going to be part of the messengers,
Child labor?
we need you here. What are you doing?" What does Pipistrelle respond?
I think she'd write back and say, you know, she would tell them that she loves them and that, you know, she would love to come back, but she can't yet. She's not ready to face that city and everything she thought it stood for, in light of what she's seen. And she, you know, she tells them, it's like, I promise I will come back one day. I just can't, I can't yet. And I promise, but she also says, I promise I will write, and I will write more often.
Oh.
And that she, she tells them basically that she loves them and that she's sorry, and she doesn't know what else to say. She just says that she's sorry and that she loves them, and that she hopes that one day that they'll understand.
I think you do exchange letters over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And there's always a very slight guilt trip, as parents like to do, of like, the shop is just so busy and there's so much work we have to do, and if only we could afford to have another pair of hands, but unfortunately, we're just so alone. Anyway, how are you doing? How's adventuring? Are you just taking some time off? It's so nice to have a holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But in like a loving parent way.
Yeah, they do it in the parent way that they think that they're being nice, but they're just really guilt tripping her, and she's like,
oh no, they know that they're guilt tripping you, but also they're not
they're being nice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of very in the kind of that sort of, in the sort of the passive aggressive child, where she just kind of very politely fobs them off and is like, oh haha, it's not really a holiday, like I'm helping rebuild a society.
Cast people who've been done wrong.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to like.
It's not a holiday. I'm on my gap year.
Yeah, it's my gap year. Like, yeah, she's.
I'm making that difference.
Yeah, like she's trying to she's humoring them, but she also says like she did when she said to Lutzen and to Balthazar all those weeks ago, it's like, I want to take you to one of the bat festivals in Odok. She meant that.
Mm-hmm.
But the next bat festival will be the winter solstice, so plenty of time, plenty of months.
I'm going to be asleep.
Oh god, yeah, you will be asleep.
Fuck your solstice.
How dare you?
No, he would.
One last dance before you need to snooze.
Exactly. Like, I think.
He would absolutely wake up. Like, he would wake up from hibernation, because they all go to sleep in the mud, and just like a vampire raising from like its coffin, like hands crossed on his chest.
I must dance.
Yeah,
I must dance.
Rises, and will be awake for long enough to dance and then conk out again.
Very funny. I love
it.
that.
That's so good.
Oh.
So, that's the short term. I'm gonna have another little scene with each of you for more of a long term thing. So we're looking at like the passage of weeks and maybe months now as we head towards winter.
Well, I outlined mine then. I sleep and then get up to dance and go back to sleep.
So Balthazar, we're going to start with you. You have been working for maybe a few weeks now to sort of establish links, get the pirates to stop attacking people, and you realize you've been so swept up with work when you are... It's like there's no like secretary, so to speak, but a message is left for you by the Mud Furies. By what was their name? I put their name down. Quell.
Quell, yes, we talked about him with someone.
With Mikhail.
How Quell never smiles. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is the message?
Quell has requested to speak to you. You have, again, it's because of the passage of time, you were once so passionate about meeting them, and now you realize that you've been in this log and you have never sat down with one of the visiting Mud Furies.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks, and now Quell wants to speak with you.
This is a great honor. Balthazar will absolutely oblige. He'll polish his armor and make sure that his skin is nice and moisturized, and will meet with Quell.
You meet you kind of go where you've been told, and it's just the back of the log. It's outside the log. It's a little bit of a wet bit that no one really likes to go to. It's just it's in the shade.
Bit,
yes, actually, it's in the sun. It's on the east-facing bit, so
I hate
like the
it.
sun dries it out, and no one tend to go around there. There's also no entrances to the log at that bit. It's sort of like the real thick wall bit of it. It's also too dry for mushrooms to grow. There's nothing fun to forage. It's just a bit gross.
Disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a weird place to meet, and you get there as I think Balthazar would a bit early. And
I think he waits at the exit to that place until it's like 30 seconds to the hour they're supposed to meet, and then walks in. But he was waiting there 15 minutes early.
yeah,
But he walks in to be punctual.
Quell is sitting in the sun, in just a black gambeson, no armor, more comfortable attire, and is just sort of eyes closed with his sword and his scabbard in front of him, just on the ground. It is a large, sort of waving claymore. So it's got like a waving pattern along it. And as you approach, sort of opens one eye and says, "Thank you for meeting me here. It is a strange time your log is in."
Yes, indeed, but this onslaught of strangeness and change, I think, will be for the greater positive in the long run. It is a great honor to meet you, Quell. Thank you for your invitation. What is it that you wish to speak of?
I read your report about this Kined that the squirrel and the other branded worked with, a magpie.
Yes, a man of troublemaker, it seems.
I think all magpies are troublemakers. See, I...
Whoa, Quell,
Friar
that's a little
explained-
harsh. Sorry.
And he said, you go to Iron Beetle harsh, and he says, no. I think magpies are up to something nefarious. We at Blackberry Log are in the forest, and we know all manner of flighted folk. One never sees magpies, ever, in the woods. Why do you think that is?
Balthazar thinks for a bit, and then kind of like looks up with his bright eyes and says, "I don't know."
And a common opinion. See, Blueberry is not the only log to be adventuring out after the war and realizing isolation might not be the best way to live. We, I'm sure as you have, experience often a confusion with toads being seen as frogs, who are lovely, distant cousins, but not toads.
Fine cousins, but I agree, not toads, no.
We believe, I and the others of my order, that magpies are similarly isolationist. They don't mix with other beasts. And we have had contact. This is why we're here with a few magpies. We at first mistook their interactions and what they told us for a friendly interaction and, welcoming us to the neighborhood, so to speak, but they misled us. They're not to be trusted. And at first I thought, well, maybe those magpies, that group, but this talk of knowers and of Kined, of deep grain pour and information, we Mud Furies believe that they are up to something nefarious. We have other groups in the woods, you see, and we're trying to track them down.
Do you reckon that Kined is a deserter of the magpies, or working in tandem with them to whatever end they wish to achieve?
Well, from your report, we don't believe they're working in tandem, but still sowing a selfish kind of chaos. See, the magpies, the Noahs, when they interacted with us at Blackberry, they had us exploring a site nearby on the bank of the Prickspine Loch. And while it was interesting, ultimately it was a bed of adders. They had made a nest there, and in our exploring they attacked us and we lost a few, and it was not a good interaction, I assure you. But after opening up that space, one that we were told had a cache of interesting foods and things that we totally want to explore, after that awful interaction, our scouts saw magpies exploring the den and flying off with something. We were fooled, misled. And we've seen similar experiences at this Beaver City new dam up on Loch Trin, which is why we've been here, and now we're moving south again. We think they're up to something, but we can't pass it out.
See, it sounds like they're a dishonorable lot. I don't like this plot that seems to be weaving throughout the forest that you outline here. I suppose, perhaps, conferring with those wayward beasts, perhaps we could find out more about Kned, or see if any of them could help us track them down if they have seen Kned around. This does sound worrisome.
It's one lead that will follow. And he says this in a very presumptive way. He says, you ought to be going and following up that lead for us, and then meeting us south. You'll pack your things and you'll go, and we're going to figure out what's going on here.
Us? Am I being commissioned to do this, or ordered?
Yes. I and my team are going to return to Blackberry Log and resupply, and then you'll meet us. He sort of mentions somewhere on the map. It's a little bit east of Holdall. It's a log that you weren't aware of. And says there's an outpost that we've been collecting there. It's where the majority of the Mud Furies currently train. You'll meet us there and we'll work at this. You'll have to leave your project here for the meantime.
But this project, it's not just a project. These are the lives of beasts. It is the right thing to do.
And he sort of says,
I think he
it's very nice, but the log comes first. You understand?
Oh, man. Balthazar, dang it, I don't know. I think for the sake of drama, he kind of deflates a little bit and says, yes, I understand. But in spite of saying this, in a way, his heart isn't in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he acquiesces.
So,
at least for the time being, because I would have to think of what his actual decision would be. But in this conversation, he does understand. You know, he said to the question of the log comes
I think
first.
that's
he's
what
like,
we're gonna end Balthazar's like what will happen over this little period of time. We're not sure if Balthazar's going to go with the Mud Furies or if he's going to stay behind and work with the Branded.
I like that.
Pipistrelle, your talents as a flying creature are very useful, especially flying around at night when the Sparrowhawks don't tend to hunt. They live in the mountains north of Loch Trin, and you've been instrumental these last few weeks in gathering together the various branded beasts who had to flee the hideout through the cistern. By the time that Chipper swam through the cistern to get to the cave. They'd already fled further and scattered. So you haven't found all of them. Some of them you think have left or gone back towards the bristly woods or fully given up on the project. Maybe some of them were picked off. It's unclear. But you've been doing that for the past few weeks while Balthazar's been working with Blueberry Pond to maybe instigate trade routes and start to like look into, do we want a Toad Armada and things like that.
Yeah.
So Pipistrelle, for the next few months through autumn, what are you planning to do? You're sort of at this kind of crossroads where Lutzen's working away on the Beetle with Chipper, and Balthazar's busy becoming a toad diplomat.
Yeah.
What is Pipistrelle going to do?
I think in her own mind, she understands obviously that her friends have got all this stuff that they want to do and things like that, and but I think she's feeling a little bit abandoned at the moment because Lutzen and Balthazar are so busy, and she's not angry. Like thank you. She doesn't resent them for it. She completely understands what they're doing is very important.
I feel like left behind is a better word, because abandoned is like intentional, but you're just feeling a little bit like they've moved past and moved on.
Yeah, and she hasn't even been able to tell them that she's leaving the Moon Messengers Guild because they've been so busy. But like she's not wearing her tunic anymore.
There's never been a good time for it.
No, there never has been. And like she's not wearing her Odok tunic anymore. She obviously hasn't got her. She's keeping her messenger bag because it's just a useful thing to have. But she's not the messenger tag and the tunic are gone, and so she's just a little bat in a green flight suit, and she's confused and she's hurt and she's just disillusioned, but she feels like she has a purpose as the nights get longer. She feels, at least while her friends are busy, that she can do some good by helping the other beasts out where she can, and she's scouting, and because of what Linefinder Flynn taught her about like useful herbs and berries and things like that, she's been able to gather supplies where she finds them, good mushrooms and good sort of plants and things to help them make medicines, and she's shown them how to like bandage wounds, at least from like the little bits that she's picked up. Like she's no poultice pounder, but she knows enough to be able to say like honey and beeswax are a great thing if you can get hold of a wild beehive, which there must be. You just have to find them.
We've collectively been injured enough to educate you in a way.
I think she's done enough injuries. She's had enough minor and major injuries to be like, I think I know how to bandage a wound.
Yeah, I've had that one.
Yeah, I had one of those.
I had that too.
But she's spending, for the first time since she hit that tree and woke up in Brambledam, she's alone. She's like a lot of time to think, and so whenever she has a moment, she's spending a lot of time sitting in trees, and she's actually started, at least I like to think, with when she's not sending letters to her parents, she started scribbling like pictures of her surroundings and like useful maps and locations of things, and she's like picking up this new skill of being able to like turn her ability to see things from the sky into something useful that she could use for other beasts, marking useful landmarks, etc. Safe paths and passages and good hiding holes, and known like sparrowhawk nests and like rook and like
what you've
rookeries
been doing
and things like that.
is modifying maps with new symbols and keys that what mappers that make the maps that you've been using don't seem to find important. You're looking for, you mark hiding spots rather than triangulation landmarks, and you mark flight paths and where the wind seems to commonly come from, and weather and things like that. I think maybe you kind of have a few like lessons where you sit in with some very old and very big weatherwort toads who spend their entire day just staring at the sky.
I like that.
Picking up some tricks about like the weather and what that's like and stuff.
I think I think she's in this funny stage now where she's like, because she doesn't really know who she is anymore. She's just kind of trying out a little bit of everything and seeing what sticks and trying to find a purpose. You know, she's still like, you know, I don't know if she's the youngest out of the three of us, but she's certainly quite young. And
I think we've established that she is like the youngest.
I think
Yeah.
Balthazar was a little bit older.
Balthazar isn't. Yeah, he isn't older by much, but a little bit older. And
Yeah.
then I imagine that Lutzen is the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like too huge a gap between their ages, but she's definitely always been like the baby in that kind of sense. And I think she really I think she really feels it at this point, because like she's no diplomat and she's no Craftpaw, so she's like, well, you know, what am I good at? What is my purpose in our troop? What can I do to be useful?
So many things.
I know, she's just confused and, you know, has time to think about it, if that makes sense. And she wants to be useful. She wants to be someone who can, or she wants to be a beast that can help other beasts, you know, because she can. So I think the sort of learning from toads and, you know, mapping the wind and the weather and the hiding spots is like her way of trying to take her specific little animal instincts and make it useful.
Aww.
So that's what you're going to spend the next like a couple months working on, is just trying things out and being helpful where you can.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last little scene I'm going to do is going to be with Lutzen.
Oh no. Okay.
Lutzen, you've been working with Chipper, and it has been really. It was tense at first, but now there's coming to points where like you have fun. This is fun. You're working on projects again. You're so excited. You do have to be escorted by Toad Knights when you come between Blueberry Pond and the new town. They're calling it Ladies Bank. It's just to make sure that you don't get attacked or swoop like some kind of sparrow doesn't swoop down and take you off. With the reinforcement of toads there, it seems like the sparrowhawks are more dissuaded and their attacks are coming less frequently. And if they do fly over, they might try and snatch a beast and then fly off. But they definitely aren't doing as much damage as they used to.
Just imagine the Toad Knights all like puffing up, croaking, and yelling, "We're inedible! We're inedible!" And Sparrowhawks are like, "Oh god."
That's kind of a beast equivalent of like raid alarms, like just like.
Well, yeah, because you got like the very angry toad squeaks.
Yes.
Just screaming. They all just start screaming.
Oh my gosh.
There is a moment where you're at the docks of Ladies Bank, and you have an armful of schematics, and you're going to go to get some more pieces. And you look over and you see a familiar face. Standing on the dock, having gotten off a boat, is Qiang. She seems to be looking around. She has a backpack with like, clearly she's traveling. And she's looking around and sort of like taking in Ladies Bank. There are buildings here that are being rebuilt and reconstructed with like foraged lumber and stone and stuff like that.
Lutzen's got a wee hard hat on, like a small conker shell hard hat. To like match the one that he used to have in his bag. Yeah, that's
what do
really
you do?
Good. I don't think Lutzen realizes it's them to begin with. I think he's kind of got the schematics and things, and he's looking around and he's just like surveying the work that's being done and like, you know, keeping track of things. And he like will lock eyes with her. Was it she her or are they them?
She
I
her.
can't remember.
I think.
She her. Yes, I think so. We'll lock eyes with her and like see her, and then kind of just like not really recognize. And we kind of go back to the plants and does like a double take. It's like, oh wait, it's Qiang, and he'll start kind of like waving and kind of like waddle on
I'm
up.
very sorry. It's not Qiang. Qiang is someone else. It's Grimble.
Grimble. I was thinking,
Oh, rat.
Qiang is from Greer's story. This is Grimble.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. I know. I was like Qiang. Okay, sure. Yeah, Grimble. My bad. Also. And yeah, I think
maybe you're like, are you Qiang? No, you're Grimble.
Yeah. Yeah, he squints like into the sun a bit, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can't see." Yeah, I think he'd quite happily go over and like, "Oh, it's Grimble. It's brilliant to see you. What brings you out here? I thought you were quite settled over."
She sees you coming over and looks around and immediately steers you away from the dock and to the side of the building.
Oh.
She says,
Oh,
"Oh, thank goodness, Lutzen, I found you. You can't stay here. You have to come with me right now."
what? Why? What's going on?
What are you doing?
Okay?
What are you doing? These pirates? You have to leave now. We have to get back on that boat. It cost a fortune to come over here.
No, Grimble, you don't understand. These people we're helping them.
Yeah, and that's why you've got to stop the guild. I'm hearing rumors through to Willamute that they're gonna this new frontier, whatever. You're gonna get cut off. You need to come back right now and explain what you've been doing. You're in trouble.
Well, no, I don't think I do. I'm helping
She's sort of
people
looking
here.
at you a little bit shocked, like,
I'm helping beasts here. That's what we're meant to do. People have been cast out for doing much less. And if that's my burden to bear, then so be it. But I'm doing what I enjoy, and it's making a difference here. And if you're here to come and take me away, then you can try, but that boat's right there. Feel free to get back on it and go. I'm very touched that I thought you would see me, but obviously I was misunderstood.
She goes from like concerned to a little bit huffy. She's like, I don't think you understand, Lutzen. You're gonna be in so much trouble. You already owe
I think he's gonna
the
giggle
machine
at
to. Sorry, what?
I think he giggles at like, you're gonna get in so much trouble. It's like, I've been in much worse trouble than what they can throw at me.
I can't. I've been saying that you're on a trip to get this beetle back, but you're gonna be coming back. I can't cover for you much longer.
Well, initially I was, and I had all intentions of bringing it back, or at least figuring out what to do with it. But the people need this thing.
And I think at this
People are
point,
trying
like,
to set up a
you can
life
see,
here.
like in the distance, the beetle is like dragging something like,
Yeah.
further up in Lady's back. Maybe Chip is driving it. And Grimble's like,
Like, take a second, Grimble. Open your eyes. Can't you see what we're building here? Irrelevant. Hide all the people that you have your biases towards, and whatever you may think of them. This is building society again. It's building a new place for beasts to live. Is that not what the guilds were established for? Is that not the reason they started in the first place? To collaborate and build and thrive?
yes, but all of these beasts have done horrible things. And she sort of says it very kind of under her breath, as maybe like a badger walks past. He says, one way or another, these are all trouble. You don't.
Watson would wave at the badger.
Oh.
And
Badger
fight
nods
and
at
annoying
you.
them. Yeah. I'm sorry. Continue as she was saying, sorry.
And Grimble says, at some point or another, things will go badly. You're only safe when you come back to Odoak.
I think he kind of gently shakes his head and says, in pursuit of this beetle, I've done bad things too. And if that makes me a villain in your eyes, then so be it. But I know what I'm doing here is right. And it feels good.
She throws her kind of her hands up and she kind of... Ugh.
I appreciate your concern, Grimble. Honestly, I'm very touched by you looking out for me and trying to cover for me. But these people need what we've built, what I've built. And I thank you for all the knowledge and patience you've had with me. But if you can't see that this is good, and this is worthy of doing, then I can't help you with that. You've got to work through that by yourself.
Well, I can't make you do anything, but I guess the only thing I can say is you didn't hear this from me, but they're cutting Blueberry Pond off. The guilds. I heard it from... Well, it doesn't matter. We're not meant to pass messages past Bramble Dam. I
think
hope
Lutzen looks
you'd
kind
come
of
back and you'd
confused at
explain and that this would all be fine, but if you're working with branded beasts and people that we're not meant to work with? I hope you stay safe.
I think Lutzen will... I don't know if this will make it. I think Lutzen will kind of roll up like the little sleeves that he has, and we'll just see all of the like burns and scars and things he's had from working on projects and things. And we're just gonna say like, I don't see much of a difference at this point between brands and injuries of work. These things don't really mean much.
And I think
we're all branded in some way.
Grimble kind of shrugs and then says, I can't stay here. Good luck.
Thank you, Grimble, for everything you've taught me and for your patience. But I hope you can come to see one day that have some perspective.
And she kind of nods and just says, well, if I don't see you sooner, I'll see you elsewhere. And she sort of
I'll see you around.
Steps back and grabs a bag and gets ready to go.
Part of me wants to... Oh no, I don't have my sigil anymore. Doesn't matter. I was going to hand it back maybe, but I don't have it. And I think that's just like... He would maybe instinctually go to the pocket or the where it usually was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just to himself, he'd just have a quiet moment of just nod to himself that, you know, he's still a Craftpaw and he's doing what's right and he knows that, but he didn't need that sigil as a reminder. I think he'll kind of watch Grimble.
That little scene's going to end. And we start to zoom out as autumn starts to turn to winter, as toads start to get sleepier, as they hope that their stores will last them through. Pipistrelle, the letters from your parents, 1 week just stopped coming. A few weeks later, you go, or Mikael comes through and says, they turned me away. They said that I wasn't welcome at Brambledam. And I'm gonna just say this like where we're ending things is, by siding with the branded, Blueberry Log is surprisingly and abruptly 1 week cut off from trading with the guilds.
Wow.
What?
Whoops.
Whoops!
Ruh-roh!
There's just sort of like a denial of service.
I better go for that mission. On that mission, then goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, and I just want to ask: do you know if Balthazar stays with, or does he go on with the
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I think I'd have to think about that.
Okay. Well, we will leave it uncertain.
Especially with Blueberry Pond being cut off, there's a sense of responsibility there, and kind of gallivanting around doing Mud Fury stuff. I don't know. I'd have to think on it. I'm sorry. It's a little inconclusive.
It's a big decision for Balthazar.
It is a big decision.
There would also be like really. I will say it would be pretty dramatic if he was like, yeah, the lock comes first, goes on the mission, comes back, and everything's like bad because of the cutoff. The lock didn't come first in that decision that he made. In a way, or inadvertently. So perhaps that's how it unravels. Is he, won't get to see his friends for a while. He goes on this mission because the log comes first, and then comes back to see the consequences of. It's not like he was the one who the toads all made the decision. It's not like he forced them.
Yeah.
But he kind of realizes all that. And then he'll have to figure out whether he wants to continue doing Mid-Fury stuff or Ambassador stuff.
So
like...
this is hopefully the card showing up on the screen. I'm going to see if I can flip it in. Flip card. This It's just being really slow for me, so maybe you can see it. But this was the theme
Yup.
of the game. It's not loading, but I've shown it previously on the stream because I've looked at on my.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
see
it's-
it.
I see it.
Sacrifice and charity.
Greed,
Or sorry,
sacrifice, and
sacrifice and
charity.
charity.
Charity and greed.
There we go,
Yep.
it's back. Tags like aid, attend, cooperate, donate, explain, grant, share, support, and then vice tags of cover, keep, limit, own, pressure, rescind, squeeze, and take, and withhold.
I mean, I feel we can all unequivocally say we got all of the charity aspects of sacrifice.
I think so.
Yes.
I think we all inadvertently have fallen into virtue for this one, because I think each individual character has...
Had to take stock.
Yeah,
And
they
really reassess
Sacrifice
a lot.
something.
They've all
Yeah.
sacrificed something quite monumental, so, like... God damn!
Well, shit.
Ah!
I think it just fits really perfectly to kind of tie
It
everything.
does.
It perfectly crests it all, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Beautifully.
was that the card for they come at night mostly?
Yes, they come at night
Yeah,
mostly.
wow.
Oh, that is brilliant.
That is brilliant. What an amazing
Wow.
card to end this section of the campaign on. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
So what is going to happen next is I'm going to be organizing some guests, and we're going to play a short interlude campaign that is happening in the winter before we come back to you fine folk. So that's going to set up like the next chapter, but that's very exciting. I will be announcing that sort of stuff soon.
It's so exciting.
I'm just like grinning like a demon right now. This is,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it just fits so
same.
well. It's
Me
like
too.
an ear-to-ear smile. That's so good.
I definitely had some like different kinds of like scenes planned or like written. I
Those are cool.
thought that you guys were going to get separated to some degree. I thought Pipistrelle was going to go back to Odok. So that was interesting.
Sorry that I got incredibly.
No,
well,
don't say
okay,
sorry.
she
This is a very fun, complex situation.
She has been so thoroughly disillusioned,
Mm.
and she's like, you know, she is like for the next few like months before we pick up the campaign in winter. I think she's going to come back as quite a different little bat, genuinely, and I'm kind of
I
scared.
know
to
we
see
all
what's
we
gonna
all
happen
take
to her.
our like noir turn into Beast Fables noir.
Oh, yes.
Also, I mean, I just want to say my only regret is that you guys caught up with Chipper, because I had a whole cool like Dark Souls level planned where she was gonna like hack the ballista onto the beetle, and then it was gonna be like the beetle fight, but then with the ballista, and it was gonna be so
What?
cool. Anyway, yeah.
That would have been. Please save that for another part of the campaign. Please reuse this idea. That's amazing.
It was gonna be like the beetle was gonna belch like coals at you guys. It was so
my
cool.
Oh my
God.
god. That's
Someone
what
had
the
died.
Oh,
That's sick.
We rolled
cool.
too well. Sorry.
Can we have like a fever dream where like we just play that
Yeah.
out because
That's the
like a
Halloween
horrific-
special.
yeah, shared nightmare that we're all like, oh, what if Chipper got there before we did?
Okay, I think we should
Yeah.
reintroduce ourselves real quickly and then close it there.
Yeah.
I have been Brian. I use he, him pronouns, and I have been your narrator for today's session. I am so glad we finally got to end the campaign. Oh,
Yes.
my God.
Yeah.
We
Like
made
I'm
it.
coming.
Ah,
It's why at the beginning when you said this is a weekly game, I chuckled.
yeah. It's meant to be a weekly game, but June has been
But like,
chaos.
yeah, God, June has been a disaster.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way, baby.
You can find my game Scurry, which is set in the Bristly Woods, and you can be in beasts, and you can be playing, and you can do stuff, and it's all fun, and it's available now. Yeah, you can get it.
Beautiful.
That's my pitch. I've been joined today by Vert, Atlanta, and Fraser. Vert, do you want to reintroduce yourself?
Pebisi Pips, everybody. I have been Ver. You can find me on social media, on Twitter, Verface at Twitter. You can find me on Tumblr, Sticks and Sharks at Tumblr, and you can support me on Patreon, Verface at Patreon. I don't really have anything to plug right now, but I just want to say, Brian, thank you for this wonderful, for the time being, finale, I suppose is how I will describe it. I'm very excited for the guest games that are upcoming, and I'm very excited to return after the time skip and see what happens? Are we going to be the same people? Are we going to be different people? Beasts, sorry.
Mhm.
Like both literally and figuratively. Like are our characters going to change? What's going to happen? It's exciting. I'm excited, and I can't
many
wait for it all
questions.
to. Can't wait for it all to unravel.
Amazing. Me too. Next up, we have got Atlanta.
Hello everybody. My name is Atlanta, your local disillusioned bat friend. You can find me on social media at Alpaca Scribbles on Twitter, at Alpaca_Scribbles on Instagram. Nothing serious to plug. My commissions are open right now. If anybody is interested, there is more information on both my Instagram and my Twitter, so please check it out. Do DM me on either of those platforms if you need more information. Thank you very much. Brian, thank you for, thank you for being so patient. One of the reasons that Beast Fables was put on hiatus again was because of pretty serious health issues from my end, so I appreciate all the patience and love that you guys have been showing me. Ver and Fraser, same to you. Thank you for being so patient and wonderful friends and just being generally amazing
Glad you're
people.
back to health.
I know, it's good
Onwards towards health.
it's good to feel like an almost human again. I am so excited for the next chapter of Beast Fables. I feel like the summer that was such an amazing sort of first leg of this campaign, and I am so excited to see how our little beasties are gonna change as the winter comes. And I'm very excited, and I can't wait.
Winter's coming.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
It's Game
I
of
go
Thrones,
to
but
sleep
everyone's
now.
Northern. I guess that's Game of Thrones anyway.
Game of Toads.
Game of Toads.
Oh my god. Orchestral toads. Very good, very good.
Yes.
Last but not least is Fraser.
Hello, I have been Fraser. I go by he, him pronouns, and you can find me online under the alias of Lost Astronaut. So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and you can support me on Patreon there as well at patreon.com/lostastronaut. Yeah, I'm an illustrator like the rest of us, and a kind of character designer or character artist. And yeah, you support me on Patreon, please, if you want to see behind the scenes work of stuff that I'm working on and all of the such. I have a couple of things to plug. Well, depending when this comes out.
It won't be in time. Chip will be finished. I'm sorry.
So we finished? Okay, that's okay. I wasn't quite sure.
I checked.
Either way, it's a good fun project, and you should still check it out and support the people and all the artists who are doing
pre-order
it.
Chip Collective working in the arts.
Yes.
It will definitely fund, and you should pre-order it.
Yes,
It
you
will
should.
be done. But the other thing to plug is the other stream that I'm part of is a D&D campaign that I play with my friends, and we're all queer, it's all great, it's really fun, the story's been good. We've taken a little hiatus just to kind of figure some things out and figure out our next steps and take a wee break, but we'll be returning shortly, and I'm very excited to get back into it. I do a lot of the artwork for the characters and NPCs that we do, which you get early access to on my Patreon. But yeah, I'm very excited to play the next leg of this and see what the hell goes down. And thank you, Brian, for a marvelous story and like a wonderful world and beautiful system to the rest of you as well for building this world. And thank you for being wonderful players and people to get along with and wonderful toad and bat friends.
Yay!
Oh shit! I never said I'm Fraser. I'm a rat in a hat. God damn it! I missed that line.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got it in the end.
Exactly.
I got it in the end.
You are the one-
Just edit that in post, you know.
Is that going to be your new job? Rat in a hat.
Right now.
Rat in a hat. I mean, it kind of fits.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, everybody. You've all been wonderful. And I can't wait to see where we go next.
Well, we will see you all soon. Goodbye for now.
See you on the flip side.
Goodbye.
I shall see every one of you.
Oh no.
Oh my god, what was that? Okay, goodbye. Goodbye.